U.S. stocks advanced on Thursday as solid corporate earnings offset the war-related oil supply shock that sent crude prices to four-year highs. The Dow added 1.6%, while the S&P 500 rose 1% and the Nasdaq climbed a little less than that on the last trading day of April. The S&P had its best month in more than 5 years, and the Nasdaq its best in 6 years. Economic data showed the U.S. economy continues to grow at a healthy pace as investors navigate geopolitical tensions. While inflation jumped to more than 3% on an annual basis from the rise in fuel costs, as measured by the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, that is significantly higher than the Federal Reserve's 2% target. However, Mike Bailey, director of research at FBB Capital Partners, isn't concerned.
We're looking at inflation heating up a little bit, but not to the level where investors are getting worried. So I think that's a plus. GDP is growing. As you can kind of look across the board, and everything seems a little mixed. So GDP is growing better than what we saw in the fourth quarter. Not quite as much growth as the investors wanted, but I think good enough.
Several members of the Magnificent Seven group of artificial intelligence-related megacaps reported late Wednesday. Alphabet jumped 10% after posting a record quarter for its cloud unit. Meta fared much worse, falling 8.5%. And Microsoft slid 4% on concerns over artificial intelligence-related expenditures. Late Thursday, Apple reported results that beat Wall Street estimates, while supply constraints hindered iPhone sales. The stock was lower in after-hours trading. Other stocks on the move included Eli Lilly, which gained nearly 10% after the drug maker raised its annual profit forecast on sustained weight loss drug demand. And Caterpillar also added 10% and hit an all-time high during the session, after posting an increase in quarterly profit due to strong demand for its power generation and construction equipment.